What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. It is the 14th day of January. We're moving right through this month, you guys. $95,000 with 10 hours left in this day. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here, and let's get into it. So, at this point, I don't really know what the market's thinking. I'm going to try to guess. And if I'm right, then we should be moving up more, right? I'm thinking that right here, whenever we saw a slightly higher high than this high, the market got really, really excited that we were going to go higher. And that whenever we got here, that we saw a higher high here, the market got really excited that we were going to go higher. Everybody was calling for 100K by the end of 2025. We're going to reclaim 100K by the end of 2025. Christmas rally, all that stuff. People got very excited at these highs. And they did the same thing here at these highs, right? And here we are now at this high. It's the 1, 2, 3, fourth time that we will have gotten excited, and then the price comes down. Although what I'm feeling right now is that that's a little bit too obvious. That's a little bit too obvious. I think people are counting on that, and we're lingering here. Where the last few times that we were up here, I don't think that we were lingering this long. I want to look at the 4-hour time frame and see if that's valid. Let's just see. Okay, so we are lingering a little bit, but we lingered up here before. We lingered up here the other times as well. So it's not anything too different right now. We do have a lot more volume. My only thoughts that I'm trying to address here, and that I'm poorly addressing or poorly getting across, is that I do think that we're going to push up higher right now. I don't think that we're going to pull back like this. Maybe we pull back a little bit as we have now. You know, we've gone from 96.2 down to just below 95K. I mean, even down to like 94.6. I think that's good enough. Maybe we pull back a little bit more, but we're finding support at prior resistance. And then we'll break out. This could be a fake out, but that was a lot of volume. It looks pretty damn legit to me. You guys remember back here whenever the whole market was freaking out? Whenever everybody was freaking out that the bear flag broke out and that we were going to 70K, we were going below 70K, this was it. And I was saying, hold up, guys, don't freak out. We're not breaking out at all. How can you say that? We're breaking the trend line. It's clear as day. Yes, we were breaking the trend line, but we're not breaking out because there was no volume. There was no volume at all. There's absolutely no volume. It was gone. People were freaking out, and that's how we knew not to freak out. And confidently we said we are still in a bull market. This is a higher low. This is nothing to freak out about. Here, this is a higher high. But the difference here, and the reason why I'm a little bit more excited, is look at the volume. That goes hand in hand with the breakout. This looks more appropriate for a breakout. And then just the overall pattern, higher lows, flat top. It looks like an ascending triangle, and we've broken out of that. It's pretty normal to break out, consolidate above the breakout point, and then rally. And we've consolidated now for about a day. We can move up at any moment now. I wouldn't be surprised if when the stock market opens up or somewhere around there, that's whenever we start to move. Maybe, maybe not. It could be tomorrow that we start to move. It doesn't have to be today, but let's look at the short-term stuff. We'll look at the 1 hour. We'll zoom out from there. Let's get going. Okay, let's get going. And then beyond the idea that we're breaking out too, we're moving up and volume is coming in. It's versus here we're moving down and volume was leaving, right? It's different. It's different. It seems like this is the real deal. And again, my opening thoughts are just that while I think the average person is probably waiting for the shoe to drop, it's not going to happen. I think that we're actually just going to move up from here, but time will tell. If we were to pull back from here at the same time, would it really be that hard to believe? We've done it before, but that's my whole point. I think that we've been trained, and typically it's when the masses have been trained to think a certain way, that's when we do something differently. Right then and there, that's when we do something differently. And I think we're at that then and there moment. Looking at the 1 hour time frame here, that's a good bit of volume on the way up. You can see that your volume literally evaporates basically after this here, after this move up. You're dying off a little bit in volume, but then it just totally evaporates once we start forming this flag. Looks like a bull flag to me. Sometimes, and oftentimes enough, honestly, these flags, they'll look like they're super tight like this, and then they break out. And then they're actually not breaking out. They're still, really, you're just in like a wider formation of a flag. It looks like you've broken out, or you break out to the downside, but really you're just in a wider formation of the flag. So don't fall for that if it happens. But to be fair, I mean, we could just move up as well. Time will tell. 1 hour time frame. Looking at the 1 hour RSI, We have broken out. No, we haven't. Okay, so this trend we broke out of. I think we have broken out of that trend, but I think we're still holding this trend. And we look like we're at the base of this trend. This would actually be where you would expect to find support. So that's interesting. That's kind of nice to see. Beyond that, we're also right by the 50 area, which is a perfect area to find support as well. I like this 1 hour RSI a lot. I don't see any signs that we have to come down, that we're ready to come down at all. No. We didn't top off with bullish or bearish divergence or anything like that. The stochastics have reset. We're back down at these areas where we don't typically find support here, but it happens. We might go a little bit lower, and again, a little bit lower in the stochastics just means more consolidation. We just do this for another like 4 or 5 hours, maybe 2 or 3 hours, maybe. The MACD's red, it's crossed, but it's bullish overall, so good looks here. 4 hour, I'm not seeing anything other than the 1 hour RSI that's suggesting we could bounce from here right now. The stochastics and the MACD say we could still consolidate for, a couple hours, maybe 5 hours, maybe more, but something around there, and then maybe we move up. 4 hour time frame, we're right at the overbought zone right here. That's a nice bounce. 1 hour, 57 minutes left. I would love it if this closed green, because if it closes green and we bounce off that overbought zone, that's a very powerful signal, typically. I mean, here, when we bounced off the overbought zone, you can see we were moving up, and that was nice, but the movement up afterwards was much faster. It was pretty similar, from a low to a high, pretty similar, but this was faster. I guess this was a little bit bigger, too. But that was after we bounced off the overbought zone. Here, let me just show you, because it might not seem like that big of a deal, but from this little consolidation point, from a low to a high, you moved up 2.7%, which, whatever, that's not that big of a deal. But then after you bounced off of the overbought zone, still not that big of a deal, but 4.4%, you see the difference. It's dramatic. It's significant in percentage terms. So, I don't know. It'd be nice to close green here, is all I'm saying. And looking at the 1 hour time frame, I'm pretty convinced that we will. I don't think that we're going to move down too much over the next hour and 56 minutes. Stochastics, same thing, right at the overbought zone. The MACD looks phenomenal. Looks pretty great. Typically, in my experience, whenever we cross above the 0 on the 4 hour time frame, we do consolidate for like a day and a half to 3 days, maybe longer. So if that does happen, I'll be just as bullish tomorrow here at these prices as I am today, and the next day and the next day as I am today, if we have to consolidate further. But I'm getting the vibe that we're going to move up here pretty soon. We'll see. When I say pretty soon, I mean today we should be above this high. If I'm right. And again, that bias stems from the thought that I think everybody's waiting for the other shoe to drop, just like it did before, right? But typically in charts, in my experience, things come in 2s and 3s. And the reason they come in 2s and 3s is because by the third time, people catch on. And by the time people catch on, it doesn't work anymore, right? Does that make sense? If that doesn't make sense to you, you're probably new. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like here, you had a slightly higher high and you sold off. You had a slightly higher high and you sold off. It worked 2 times. But then we didn't get another chance after that, right? You get like 2 or 3 attempts. Here you had a lower low that worked and went to a higher high. Here you had a lower low that worked and went to a higher high. Here you didn't. 2 attempts, the third attempt didn't work for you. They come in 2s and 3s. Here you've had 1 attempt where a higher high sold off, 2 attempts where the higher high sold off, 3 attempts where the higher high sold off. This one was different, and it was the weakest selling off reaction. And now we are pumping up to higher highs right now. I just think that at this point we've had 3 attempts. It doesn't make sense to me that we would come down. It seems too obvious. So that's why I think we're going to go up. Daily time frame. And that might sound a little bit superstitious, whatever, but I mean it. I mean it just as deeply as I would any form of analysis. Like, I genuinely believe that in itself is something to consider. Anytime that you see repetition, if you're in a channel, repetition can be good and very consistent to depend on, but things like this that we're talking about, they're only good because then you realize 2 or 3 times, all right, now it's time to change the dynamics, and I think that's exactly what we're seeing here. Mark my words, it's like 2 or 3. You don't get 7. We're not going to get 7 slightly higher highs and then finally stop doing it. That doesn't happen. People will catch on. People will make too much money. And the markets are not here for people to make money. They're here to take your money. Give it to the people who are paying attention, right? We do have lower highs here. I'm sure all the bears all the bears, all the Bitcoin bears who are calling for 60, 50K, they're using this as a validating top point. They're already celebrating. It's here. We got bearish divergence. This is exactly why I believe today will close green. Because I don't think you're going to get bearish divergence here. And even if you do, I mean, that move is only going to take you down to like 94K, a little bit below 94K. I mean, if it happens, cool. We'll get rid of it just as soon as it happens. But this is a very bullish setup. I wouldn't be surprised if today closes green. It's not bearish divergence until we get a red day to close. We still got about 10 hours left in the day. We can definitely move up by the end of the day. And if we keep closing green days, this bearish divergence goes away, and then we'll sell off. That might be exactly what happens. Stochastics look bullish. The MACD just started building bullish momentum again. There's bearish divergence on the MACD. There's bearish divergence on the RSI presented, but it's technically not there again until we have a red candle printed. This doesn't print until 10 hours goes by. And I think in that time, again, we will be higher. We'll be above this high. We'll close it green. All the bearish divergence people who are going short right now and as a result of this are going to get left behind. And again, the whole thought for me with Bitcoin, here's another thought, is that a lot of people are calling for this area. I've seen a lot of people call for this area. And there are calls between this low and this high and higher than that and lower than that. There's calls all over the board from everywhere. You can find a call for any number if you look hard enough, right? But I feel like most people are, in my experience from what I've observed, most people are counting on this area to provide resistance, which is exactly why I think we're not going to stop there. Because again, it seems too obvious. I certainly don't believe that we're going to fall short and then sell off. I don't believe that. I mean, we've just broken out. I doubt that that's going to happen. I think it would make more sense to go to the next area. You know, you look at this area here from a low point, you've got support there, you've got support back here. We go to the next area here where you found support. You've got support, support, support all the way through here. A little bit of support there, some resistance there, support right there. It's a more significant area, and I think that's where we're going to go. On top of that, we take the high, the all-time high, to the low that we had on November 21st, and that's right there with our golden ratio. Right there, it's literally perfect right there with our golden ratio at 106.3K. Somewhere between 106.3 to 110K, specifically very close to that 107, 108K level. That's where I think we're going to go. And on top of that, I think we're going to go there in a very short amount of time. I wouldn't be surprised. It's Wednesday now. I wouldn't be surprised if we were there before the end of this week, before Sunday. I wouldn't be surprised at all. And if it's not by the end of this week, then certainly sometime next week. I would be surprised if it took longer than that. I would be surprised if it wasn't the end of this month that we were there, or sometime by the end of this week. But I digress. I've got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I hope I didn't sound too crazy with the like the superstitious beliefs of. I feel like it is superstitious, right? Because there's not really anything technically grounded in saying, oh well, it comes in 2s or 3s, but you don't get the 4th one. I guess it's technically grounded if you look at the statistics of that being true. Statistically speaking, that's infallible. But I mean, maybe it's fallible like 2% of the time or something like that. There's always exceptions, but I don't know. I hope that just doesn't sound too crazy. Like I'm reaching out there. I'm telling you, man, it's like a rule. It's like a golden rule. It'll help you. It'll help you avoid the. I mean, even here, like look at the lows we got. We got 3 lows, and then we were done, right? I don't know. I don't know how to better explain it. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Okay, take care of yourselves. Bye bye.